Adolf Hitler, a name that conjures images of brutality, war, and the darkest chapters of human history. But here's a question you might not have considered. What did Hitler actually believe about religion? Was he a Christian, as he publicly claimed? Or was there something deeper, darker, and more manipulative behind his religious views? Today, we're diving into Hitler's paradoxical relationship with Christianity, a man who publicly praised it, yet privately despised its teachings. Buckle up. This is where history gets complicated. In 1920, the Nazi Party officially declared its support for something called positive Christianity. Now, this wasn't your typical Christianity. It was a version tailor-made for Nazi ideology, purged of its Jewish roots and reshaped to fit Aryan racial theories. Why? Because Hitler understood the power of religion. In a deeply Christian Germany, denouncing Christianity outright would have been political suicide. Instead, he hijacked it. The Nazis claimed that Jesus wasn't Jewish, but an Aryan revolutionary, a man who fought against Jewish influence. They pushed this narrative through movements like the German Christian movement, a group that eagerly aligned Christianity with Nazi ideals. Imagine this: sermons where pastors declared Jesus as the original fighter for Aryan purity, and the Old Testament was dismissed as irrelevant Jewish propaganda. This was the version of Christianity Hitler publicly supported. But behind closed doors, the story was entirely different. Hitler called Christianity a religion of weakness, one that glorified compassion, forgiveness, and humility, all traits he saw as incompatible with his survival of the fittest philosophy. Albert Speer, Hitler's close confidant, recalled conversations where Hitler described Christianity as a tool of Jewish influence, designed to weaken strong Aryan cultures. He despised its emphasis on turning the other cheek, believing it undermined the aggressive spirit of the German people. And yet, Hitler didn't outright reject religion. No, he wanted to replace it with something stronger, something he could control. But what exactly? That's where things get even more intriguing.
In public, Hitler claimed to defend Christianity, but this wasn't the Christianity of forgiveness and humility. It was a re-engineered version, stripped of its Jewish roots, infused with Nazi ideology, and centered on a startling claim that Jesus was not Jewish, but Aryan. How did the Nazis justify this extraordinary claim? And what did they hope to achieve by rewriting the very identity of Jesus Christ? Let's dive in. To the Nazis, traditional Christianity was problematic. It was too forgiving, too universal, and far too Jewish. Their solution? A complete makeover. They declared Jesus as an Aryan, a man born into a land corrupted by Jewish influence, who fought against it to uphold the supposed purity of Aryan values. Nazi theologians pointed to Jesus' opposition to Jewish religious leaders, like the Pharisees, as proof of his non-Jewish heritage. They claimed he was a warrior, not of faith, but of race, fighting for a higher Aryan cause. And then there was their artistic vision. Propaganda materials transformed Jesus into a blonde-haired, blue-eyed savior, a visual embodiment of the Aryan ideal. But a simple rebranding wasn't enough. The Nazis set out to rewrite Christianity itself. They dismissed the Old Testament entirely, calling it Jewish propaganda. Instead, they focused solely on the New Testament, cherry-picking passages that aligned with their ideology. Even within the New Testament, they reinterpreted stories to align with Nazi beliefs. For example, they portrayed Jesus' cleansing of the temple not as a spiritual act, but as an ethnic purge, a rejection of Jewish influence. To make their vision a reality, the Nazis needed allies within the church. Enter the German Christian movement, a group of pastors and theologians who pledged to align Christianity with Nazi ideals. The German Christian movement adopted Nazi rhetoric, promoting a de-Judaized Christianity that emphasized racial purity and loyalty to the state. They even tried to replace the Ten Commandments with Nazi principles, declaring, "The Führer is our savior." But not everyone was on board. Many traditional Christians resisted, creating a rift within German churches that would grow into a full-blown battle for the soul of Christianity in Nazi Germany. While some Nazis tried to rewrite Christianity, others turned to something even stranger: mysticism, secret societies, Aryan mythology, and the hunt for ancient symbols became a driving force behind Nazi ideology. We've seen how Hitler sought to manipulate Christianity to serve the Nazi agenda. But there was another side to Nazi ideology, a stranger, darker fascination with mysticism and the occult. Secret societies, Aryan myths, and even quests for ancient relics. So what role did mysticism play in shaping Hitler's vision for the Third Reich? Let's uncover the secrets. Long before Hitler rose to power, the Thule Society, a secretive, mystical organization, laid the groundwork for many of the ideas that would shape Nazi ideology. They weren't just nationalists, they were myth-makers. The Thule Society combined German nationalism with Nordic mythology, claiming that the Aryan race descended from a mythical northern land. They believed this superior race held the key to humanity's greatness, and they sought to reclaim its lost legacy. Early Nazi supporters like Dietrich Eckart and Rudolf Hess were active members of the Thule Society. They saw Hitler not just as a political leader, but as a spiritual savior, an Aryan messiah who would restore their vision of a pure, powerful Germany. Oh, while Hitler sought to manipulate Christianity, Heinrich Himmler, the head of the SS, had grander, stranger ambitions. He envisioned the SS as more than just a paramilitary force. He wanted it to become the spiritual vanguard of a new, pagan-inspired religion. Himmler transformed Wewelsburg Castle into a ritual site, complete with a hall of heroes to honor fallen SS officers and mystical symbols like the Black Sun, a supposed emblem of ancient Aryan power. For Himmler, these rituals were meant to forge a new spiritual elite, loyal not to God, but to the Führer and the Aryan race. The SS even created their own research department to uncover Aryan relics and mythology, blending pseudoscience with mysticism. But these ideas were far from universally accepted within the Nazi Party. So, what did Hitler think of all this? Publicly, he distanced himself from mysticism. He dismissed it as nonsense that could distract from the party's goals, but privately his views were more complex. In private conversations, Hitler reportedly admired the power of mysticism as a tool to inspire loyalty and fear. He understood the emotional impact of rituals and symbols, even if he didn't fully embrace their spiritual significance. In this way, Hitler walked a fine line. He allowed mysticism to flourish in parts of the Nazi regime, but kept its practitioners like Himmler firmly under his control. After all, his ultimate goal wasn't spiritual enlightenment, it was absolute power. One of the strangest aspects of Nazi mysticism was their obsession with ancient relics. Himmler, in particular, believed that objects like the Holy Grail or the Spear of Destiny held mystical powers that could help the Third Reich achieve global domination. From Tibet to southern France, Nazi researchers scoured the globe for artifacts tied to Aryan mythology. These quests combined pseudo-history, archaeology, and sheer fantasy, reflecting the regime's desperation for legitimacy and power. So, what do you think? Was Nazi mysticism a genuine belief system or just another tool for domination? And how close did they come to replacing traditional religion with their own twisted vision? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into history's most unsettling questions. See you.